Alright, so the Godzilla fandom has done it again. We've got another case of very unnecessary drama, and this time it involves a 15-year-old content creator who was just trying to make something cool. If you don't know, Man in the Suit was a Godzilla analog horror series created by YouTuber Unknowingly, and it had been gaining a pretty dedicated following, with even MatPat making a video about it. That is until recently, when he announced the series is officially cancelled. Why? Because of all the toxicity he's been getting from the fandom. Yeah, a kid put a ton of effort into making something creative, and the reward he got was people going after him so hard that he decided to just walk away. And the worst part is, some of these allegations that have been thrown around against Unknowingly are insanely thin. We're talking source, trust me bro, levels of ridiculousness. So in this video, we're gonna break down what actually happened, as well as the so-called controversies surrounding Unknowingly, and why this whole situation is yet another example of how parts of the Godzilla fandom just can't seem to get out of their own way. Let's get right into it. So on February 10th, at 10:19 a.m., Unknowingly tweeted out, "By the way, the Man in the Suit is officially canceled." That is the first tweet with this fucking video. So, yeah, this is an official tweet from Unknowingly. The Man in the Suit is officially canceled. I was laughing at the video, guys. I was not laughing at it being canceled, I promise. And so then in response, as a little reply, Unknowingly says, "The Godzilla fandom..." Sorry, this video is just throwing me off. "The Godzilla fan base has been absolutely terrible to be in. Toxicity and whatnot. Even if the series brought me to fame, I want to explore different series as well. I'm sorry, but this is for the best for my mental health. Go watch Suitmation Trials or something. Check this out, by the way. I'm not going to forget these amazing fans that love the series. Thank you so much for being with me and supporting the series." Here's a video then that's attached. Looks awesome. And then looks like this is more of that specific suit. I'm guessing they're cosplaying as the Man in the Suit. I'm assuming that's what that is. So, yeah, let's look at some of the replies. Good on you, honestly. It seemed like weekly the fandom would try and call you out for something ridiculous. Sad to see it go, though. I understand your reasoning and frustrations with the Godzilla community. I guess they're as bad or even worse than the Fortnite community, but I'm really excited for your Murder Drones analog horror. So a loss, but a win. I wish the best of luck. We will go over the Murder Drones analog horror, by the way, because a trailer was posted, so I want to check that out. But personally, I believe this was a good take on the horror roots of Godzilla. The way you reimagine the 54 Godzilla as a suit actor turned monster, and the inclusion of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki as core elements, fantastic, no matter what toxicity says otherwise. So they bring up a really interesting point here. There was a ton of drama. Well, not a ton is probably an overstatement, but the thing is they were saying that the Man in the Suit series was a bit tone deaf, given the whole history of the franchise, what it represents, but also the fact that it's about it's Godzilla. You know what I mean? Godzilla in and of itself is based on the whole, it happened because of all the stuff that happened in World War II. I'm not going to get into it because YouTube demonetization. They were also saying it was in poor taste because of the fact that it's disrespectful towards Haru Nakajima, which frankly I completely disagree with. I think it's just a fictional horror series. I don't think there's anything really wrong with doing a horror series about this type of stuff. But so that was one thing that the Godzilla fandom went after Unknowingly for. Whole thing was brilliant and fresh. You have something here. But yeah. So a lot of the people were very supportive of this decision, which I think at least goes to show how bad it's gotten with this fandom, if I'm being completely honest. If someone says, the fandom has been toxic, I'm done, I'm distancing myself from it, and the majority of the comments are, yeah, you made the right decision. That's when you know it's we're too far. You know what I mean? The fandom is so far gone at this point. So, yeah, a bit sad to see. The series was amazing, but if this is what you think is best for you, yeah, again, all these comments here are extremely supportive. So, following all this up, we got more drama, and Unknowingly said, this proves my point right. And now the thing is a Twitter account, I believe the handle is Hispanic Goji, tweeted something. I don't know what it was because the post was then deleted. And so it's completely unknown as to whether or not, like, what it was. But the gist of it was that Unknowingly responded to this. Apparently it was negative, I'm assuming. And people were kind of ripping on him for this because they were saying, look, you're a huge page and this Hispanic Goji account was not, and so you're kind of like calling them out and bringing people to kind of attack them. So here's what some people said. I understand the fandom isn't in the best state currently, though I do have to say I don't think singling out negative comments will improve your health or the fandom's state. Perhaps it'd be better to come back to the fandom at a more solid state in life, saying this as advice. And I agree. This is, yeah. I've experienced stuff where, like, I made a few actually, where people did not like it. I got a ton of hate. And, I thought about, like, I think I did post one, but it was more like a death threat than anything else that I got. And I kind of posted that and was like, hey, don't do this. But, like, I agree with this person. I think that if you start getting hate on the internet, just, like, turn that shit off. Go do something else. Read a book. So I agree. I don't think singling people out is the right move. I'm not sure what this specifically is, what this tweet was, because it doesn't exist anymore. And the majority is you could have just ignored it. Did you have to quote him? That was kind of what everyone said. So Unknowingly posted, hey, I'm good and safe now. Sorry for worrying you guys. And then this user, which was the guy that he quote tweeted that was mad at. And he said, I'm happy to know you're safe. Sorry for what happened the other day. Unknowingly responded by saying, no need to be sorry, Zeke. All I did was call out a point, but by doing so, I accidentally made my fans come after you, which I disapprove of. All of this started with me, and that is something I'll take fault. I'm sorry, I'm not fit to be a content creator. I hope you're okay, though. This is an extremely mature response. I have so much respect here for Unknowingly for this specific response here. Very mature. I'm glad that he took the time off that he needed to kind of like recoup and then come back as a better person. So wonderful response here. I'm glad that he's doing well. He could be making pee-pee poo-poo analog horror for all I care. As long as he's doing good, that's all I care about. I do not care whatsoever about some of the material. My thoughts on all of this is I agree that the fandom is extremely toxic. I've written videos where I'm just like, I wrote out the script and I'm like, these are all my problems that I have and blah, 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 blah. And then I just like completely delete it and don't ever post it. I've written a few. I never really filmed it or posted it, but it's definitely hard to navigate the Godzilla fandom at points. And so at best, try not to engage. Genuinely, that's what I don't do. That's what I do. I try not to engage the best I can. And, for good reason. I don't want to deal with it. People tend to be really, really nitpicky. And on top of that, too, it's like there's the whole power scaling thing, which I don't even get into. I refuse to even engage with that. I do think, though, that for the most part, Unknowingly handled this really, really well. That's what I will say. The Man in the Suit creator Unknowingly has canceled the series due to the fandom's toxicity. To say this sucks is selling it short. Let's sort by controversial. Let's have some fun here. Absolutely big and wonderful thanks to MatPat, who made several videos on the topic and made sure to laugh and joke at the guy's editing. Despite being younger and learning how to edit videos / put footage together. Like he hasn't had a team of editors up his ass for the past 10 plus years running his content channels before he retired. I'm sure that absolutely helped this creator by having one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform mock your work. Also, big shout out to the people in the fandom who don't understand that Godzilla has always been a conveyor of whatever tone the director wants him to be. It can be dark and serious or lighthearted and comic, a mixture of both, or neither. So to say Godzilla has always been serious, always dark, and is an idiotic statement. Okay. MatPat went out of his way. So, yeah, this is news to me. MatPat shit on this? Now I'm kind of like in deep here. MatPat, there's like beef between the two. So now I'm seeing like mixed stuff where apparently he was like defending Unknowingly from toxic fans. I'm even more confused. Yeah, I know MatPat reviewed the series. That's why I'm confused about this guy saying that he like mocked it. I don't know. Okay, so this guy's just like a schizo. That's the gist. Understandable. Yeah, so thank God that shit sucked. So that's one right there. And then we get generic PNGs that are just obnoxious. Did a quick search on how bad the reception was a year ago. These are some examples. It unintentionally ruined newer, younger fans. I have seen YouTube comments of kids thinking that the man in the suit was real and the guy who played Godzilla actually died in the incident. I've also seen kids comment on videos that use the 54 Godzilla and they just respond with, "It's the man in the suit, oh my god." Honestly, the story got kind of corny after the King Kong part and should have ended there due to the Showa era of Godzilla being extremely goofy. Man in the Suit is literally the poppy playtime of analog horror. By the way, these are all like comments that this guy kind of like found. It's famous among the mainstream and younger audience, but in terms of fear factor and world building, it is hardly as good as more fleshed out series, Vita Carnis or anything by Mr. Manticore. Hell, even the Godzilla Infection series is much, much better. The problem boils down to the fact that he used his age and the fact that the Godzilla community jumped the gun by sending him death threats as a shield. And because of that, he is one of those creators whose fans refuse to let anything critical to linger for long without the risk of getting harassed by his fans and Discord mods. What frustrates me beyond belief is the fact he caused analog horror to stale once more. We were so close to moving on to the next phase thanks to the obvious that we all know, but since Man in the Suit blew up and big horror creators overreact to every little white screen jump scares, that we are once again where we were when people like Urban Spook entered the scene. Improvement isn't required because he basically got awarded a Michelin star for what amounts. I have great distaste for analog horror in general, and I feel like the whole Man in the Suit nonsense almost undermines the actual horror elements of the Godzilla franchise. Long story short, fans felt a story by a 15-year-old and its small rise in popularity threatened the franchise they love so deeply, according to them, of course. This is a pretty solid put together, I think, at least. And this guy says, I don't have any stake in this whatsoever, but I think it's wild to look at comments about a work that are critical and cite them as a summation of how toxicity the creator says they've experienced. Criticism does not equal toxicity, and to echo what others have said in this thread, almost any time this series is brought up, they talk about how great it is, so while I'm sure the creator did get actual toxic hate, I think looking for those examples helps your case more than what you included. I disagree with this, actually. I think that it's important to look at this stuff as almost like an archive, because you get the idea of like what's actually what has been said in the past, right? I very much remember this one right here, the unintentionally ruined younger fans, where people complain about when I did my video about should Suitmation be retired. There were so many kids in the comments that were like, "Oh my God, Man in the Suit reference," and it's like, can we just have a normal conversation? Like, I get that much. So like, I think this is valid in showing this because this is legitimately what people were saying at the time. While this guy is kind of right, like, yeah, you shouldn't really use this as like a primary source of what everyone thinks. I also think that you need to have at least an example of like what was being said at the time so we understand what the reception was. And the reception was mixed to negative, honestly. Like, as someone who was aware at that point in time of the fandom, a lot of the time if you mentioned Man in the Suit, it was like, oh, you roll your eyes, it's like, oh God, all these kids are going to be commenting this stuff. But it's like, that's what kids do. Like, that's how kids act. I know, I was a kid once. I remember back in like 2016, I was a little bit older, but everyone would spam hiss in comments because it was Leafy. Leafy would tell everyone to like spam hiss in all these comments. So this is just how it is. Like, this does not reflect on Unknowingly or the series, in my opinion. I don't think the audience is reflective of the creator in any way. I don't think that it's right to blame Unknowingly for how kids act. It's pretty bad. God, Reddit is obnoxious. This is like band kid stuff. Now, here's the thing, right? I do think you can criticize it without being toxic. I think that you can very much be a normal person and say, I like this, I didn't like this, but I like this. I know I did it. Like, watch my Man in the Suit review. I very much rip into it. Like, I'm very like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, but I like this. You can kind of like do it in a more respectful way. And I feel like if the internet was just more respectful, we'd be in a better place in general. Yeah, a lot of like, here we go. I'll probably be downvoted for this, but the creator has been so over dramatic that I don't care anymore. They're a kid, so they probably got one mean comment and said they're getting tons of toxicity. When I imagine a fair few amount of people were actually trying to suggest improvements that could be made. This is also like the third time they've said they're going to cancel the series. Really? Okay, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. But if that's the case, I actually am now kind of curious. Has he said this before? Unknowingly is a creep. I've never heard these allegations. I'm curious. Again, I'm not like saying, where's your source? But like, I would like to have a source with some of these. Just because they are kind of weighty allegations. And I just want to make sure that, you know, I know what specifically was said before I like platform anything on the channel. That's one thing I just want to make sure I do. Unknowingly, here are some of the issues that people have with Unknowingly. We're going to go through the whole thing. Trigger warning up above here. All that type of stuff. All right. Unknowingly, the creator of the analog horror series, The Man in the Suit is nothing more than a gooner, a manipulator, and an overall damn weirdo. By the way, 15-year-old. A 15-year-old that's a gooner? Jesus, yeah, this person has never been 15. Because I think every 15-year-old, just hormones going crazy, like, argh. Then again, though, not an excuse for harassing people, so we'll see where this kind of goes. But I'm just saying, this document will explain the timeline of events leading up to why we felt this was finally time to make this in the first place. I will not tell you who I am, for that is not relevant. No one needs to know who we are. Part of me is like, anonymous claims are like not exactly the greatest thing in the world, and that maybe, just maybe, it would help if you actually had some, like, at least just a way of being like, here's my relation to this person. I don't know. Wait, evidence is yet to materialize for some of these claims, but rest assured they're all factual. No! I'm not going to just say, yeah, they had it in this document and it looks official, so I'm just going to believe it. I'm sorry, what? Evidence is yet to materialize for some of these claims. What? That'd be like if I made a video where I'm like, hey guys, Godzilla is actually from China, but don't worry, the evidence is coming. I just don't have to say it. Just believe me. Trust me. This is literally source. Trust me, bro. Okay. Here are his wrongdoings, by the way. Not crediting artists, not paying anyone helping his channel, transphobia, which I guess we'll get into, ERP pressuring, which, sorry, I'm too, like, disconnected from being a normal person. So, okay, what's ERP pressuring? Can someone help me? Someone that's not normal? I'd love to know. Also, fat size fetish. So we got some pyrocynical shit. And then, oh, fuck. Erotic roleplay, thank you. I've never engaged with that, so I don't know what the hell any of this stuff is, but I have an idea. Saddle met Unknowingly. Their first interaction was from a Discord server that was basically a heavily fetish, not safe for work server that is associated with Noise/Bumblebee. Again, no clue what any of this means, but we're going to keep going because it's all like gooning and shit. And you know what? I'm just kind of like, I'm checked out at this point. Like, when I saw gooning, and I think I just saw femboy somewhere in here. Yeah, femboy. And then I see just trust me. I'm like, dude, you know what? Like, what are you saying? Okay, here we go. All right. Look, this whole stream was just going to be me going through tweets, and I'm, like, reading a doc right now. Like, this is unhinged. Okay. Wonderful. TLDR, they allow sexual roleplays to happen in their servers despite everyone being minors, plus allowing adults to interact with most underage users as well. Yes, this is a huge problem on Discord's behalf. But I don't know why Unknowingly is getting blamed for this when Unknowingly is a child. Like, there's no reason to, like, say, hey, look at how bad this person looks. It's like, yeah, they're the victim. That'd be like if someone gets shot outside of, like, a gas station, and then you say, well, you know, maybe they shouldn't have been there. Like, this is clear grooming. This is so clearly grooming, right? Like, Unknowingly is 15 years old. At this point, 2023, this would have been, like, 14, maybe 13, okay? 13 or 14 years old in this server. Yes, a place where he should not be, but also that is not his fault. That is the internet not being regulated enough. That is also this server not being properly moderated. If anything, though, it's probably moderated by a bunch of creeps. So here's the thing. So we get some stuff where it's like gooner stuff. I just like, I don't, this is so clearly Unknowingly is the victim. Yeah, I know. I'm lost at the evidence thing, too. Evidence is yet to materialize for some of these claims. Automatically, you're done. And we get, like, this stuff taken out of context, asking for art. So, like, What does any of this even have to do with anything? This is just like, do you have any art? I don't have any art. Do you have any old screenshots? Why do you ask? Because I was looking for old stuff. That, like, what does this have to do with anything? So they're just trying to get images. So, okay, who the fuck is Bumblear? What is even happening? I'm like... So this is not unknowingly. Then what is the... Why am I reading this? The main accusation is gooning. That's the main accusation. Mishandling of money. Okay, this to me reads like it's... I'm a child. I don't know how to set up a Google AdSense because that's Google AdSense. Like, I can just tell from the website because I've accessed my own payments from that. And for some reason, that's a bad thing that someone doesn't know. Like, so they had to have someone to be like a co-creator. When I had an old channel way back in the day, my mom ran the channel. Like, she managed all the finances because I was a minor. Like, this is completely normal behavior. I don't know why this is like a, ooh, guys, unknowingly doesn't actually like make any money and blah, 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 blah. What? This is so weird. So he has $88 in his Patreon account, meaning he lied about not having money in general to pay said artists. First off, I don't know how Patreon works. There could be a thing where it's like YouTube. For those that don't know with YouTube, so let's say like I make a video, right? So my Son of Godzilla video, we'll do it this way. I just put out a video about Son of Godzilla, right? So from the moment it was released, which was I believe 2 days ago, so we'll go like February 12th, and then to the end of the month, that's how much money I'll get from that in that specific like paycheck from YouTube. But it doesn't actually hit my bank account until like the next month. So this doesn't mean anything. The fact that it says that there's $88 per month unknowingly could like not have the money yet. That's not at all how this works. General degeneracy. He's a porn addict. Okay, but like this is just being a gooner. Like this was already mentioned. And these seem to be private DMs. Like I don't know what is so bad about like it's like My Little Pony shit. Like I don't know what you know what I mean? Like, it's like just furry garbage. Like, I don't know. So, below incident... Wait, hold on. He's always on the verge of canceling his projects if he even deals with any stress, no matter how small it is. This below incident was all because people did not want him to be a part of a VC... What's a VC? Voice chat? I gotta figure out what some of these acronyms mean. I'm assuming VC means voice chat. Acted overly dramatic, implying sewer slide... and taking this attention to Twitter as well, which he always does publicly in our DMs. So this is so nothing burger. I mean, that's always not the best right now. I hope it gets better in the future. Emotional blackmail / sewer slide bait. Miguel is a simply mean person, so comparing him to a full-on groomer is crazy. I don't get. This is like such a nothing burger. And like the thing is too is that like when I see this type of stuff, right? When I see a child, mind you, 15 years old. When I see a child acting this way, this is, I wouldn't say normal for a child, but also it's like, this is just kind of like how a lot of like teenagers are a lot of the time because they're so like hormones, you know what I mean? Like it's like you're growing, like this is just how shit happens. Like this is puberty, it sucks. Concerning threats. And it's just like, yeah, like at best, you know, I knew people that were kind of like, you know, acting, they'd act this way in high school, but it was also like, he's 15. It's like they talk about like they keep mentioning 15. It's like, yes, he is a victim. He is a victim in this situation. To try and flip it on him just goes to show that you are just being a clout goblin for no reason. This sucks. This document sucks. Genuinely. This is the most insane document I've ever seen towards another creator. And the fact that you have to say at the beginning, the evidence is yet to materialize for some of these claims, but rest assured they're all factual. Said evidence will be added to the doc once it becomes available. Mind you, none of this was ever added. Like, there's still stuff from like 2023 with like no evidence whatsoever. If anything, this highlights the problem of Discord. The fact that there are children that are being actively groomed on Discord, that's the biggest problem. That is the problem here. I'm getting upset, genuinely, because, like, I genuinely feel bad for Unknowingly, and I feel anger towards the people that made this. It's so frustrating. If you want, I guess, more of, like, information, I suppose Ericzilla goes through a lot of it. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I'm a bit apprehensive about covering some of this in depth. I'm just not a big fan of it, kind of uncomfortable. But in general, kind of taking a cursory glance, this makes no sense. Yeah, the crimes and sins of unknowingly. What crimes and sins? The crime of being groomed? But yeah, this is insane to me. This is insane. The fact that this even exists makes me just angry. So I really, really feel bad for unknowingly, because this is the fact that someone would have to put up with this is just garbage. To anyone watching, by the way, this channel that's underage, just stay away from Discord. Just stay away. Like it to me, I've never heard a single good thing about Discord. Genuinely, like I use it to record podcasts every now and then, but that's it. Just stay away from Discord, man. Don't even engage with some of this crap. All I hope for is that unknowingly gets through this, because this just, in my opinion, seems like a child, by the way, a 15-year-old child who has been groomed on Discord and has been harassed by Godzilla fans. A toxic fandom that, trust me, I have felt a lot of that toxicity. I've gotten death threats before. I get it. You know, I'm in the same boat as you, man. But, like, just, I hope you have a good circle around you that's very supportive. And you have people to talk to, genuinely, because this is such a shitty situation. So,